Hello again, it's Noob, and do you know what? I did it. I bought a Grav pick from Covert Instruments so I could review it for you. Hold on, I think I might need to just start this one again. Seriously though, this is a fidget toy slash lockpick. This is a gravity sliding mechanism. So this remains locked in this position. You open it up and it opens up by about 20 degrees or so, I'd say. And then this mechanism here is weighty enough and it will slide on this rail either side to just drop the pick out, and then it holds it in surprisingly tightly. It's a little bit of wobble, but not anything to really worry about at all. It's pretty heavy as well. It's made of metal. I don't know what type of metal. It's definitely magnetic, so it's not aluminium. So it's definitely whatever it's made of, it's a heavier metal. And that is actually quite pleasing. And I have to say, right at the start, that this is kind of addictive. I was just playing with it while I was watching a video the other day, and I just couldn't help but do this. So I'll try to stop myself from doing this throughout the video because it's going to really annoy you. But yeah, so it has a pick here. It also has an integrated turning tool. And this has a small kink in it, so it's slightly sprung. So it's locked in here just through friction alone, which actually isn't too bad. It's not going to come out anytime soon, and it's relatively easy to slide out. So again, no issues about that. It has a nice, I don't know what kind of coating it has. If it's aluminium, I'd say, or aluminum to those of you in the US, I would say that this would be anodized. It seems to be some kind of applied finish, paint, I don't know, but yeah, it is just really nice. And it doesn't just come with this quince rake, I had to count there. If you open up the box, which is quite a nice presentation, I have to say, it's got that kind of matte finish with the gloss logo and wording, or lettering should I say. And then inside here, we get this out, there we go. You obviously got their QR code for instructions, I imagine. Then a tiny little wallet, and in here, there we go, we'll try and get this out, is various spares which you can use. So which I actually appreciate, that it isn't just a one-trick pony, that you actually have various bits in here. You've got one of those little, should we call it a slider, a little cassette slider thing. So loads of spare screws, which I appreciate. I think there's about 6 of those. And then a hex key so that you can change the pick tips. There we go. So there's all the stuff here. I'll try to put it on the side without spilling it everywhere. And look at the other tips that we get here for your pleasure. Always hard to pick them off my flat surface. And we have a medium hook, a flat-topped short hook, and we also have, I think that all these are in 25,000ths of an inch as well, a quad peak. So should you want to swap one of these out, I don't know, say to the short hook, then I believe it's going to be something like this. And I haven't done this before, so it's a bit silly for me to do this on camera, but I'm vaguely confident that this would be pretty easy to do. I imagine that this grub screw here undoes like that. There you go. You can just drop that side of the sliding mechanism off. Then you've got in here your another side here, which I can just take off. Take that bit off. Oh, there you go. Which has little pins in, 3 of those, which lock into the pick. Obviously, if you want to swap out a tip, you have to be careful about which way round you put the tip. So you want it that way up, pointing up like that. I don't know how much of a difference it would make being this way up, but I think it's probably better that way up. And then you will just choose your sides. So I'm going to pop in the one with the little pins on this side and try to pop that in. That was pretty quick actually. And then get the other side like that and pop that in here. There we go. And we'll grab that grub screw, pop that in. Oh, that went in first time, and give that a little twist until it locks down. And I probably wouldn't tighten this too much. You do have some spares, but look after your tools. And there we go. Now we've gone from the quince rake to the short hook. I'll do a few demos with the short hook now. You've seen how the rakes work. I'll pick a couple of locks for you, and then I'll come to some conclusions and some thoughts. We will start out with a master lock here, and just try and get this one picked as quickly. So the feedback's actually very, very good on this, and the handle on it is actually pretty comfortable. It's weighty, but it's comfortable, and the finger spacing on this is wide, but it's not overly wide. Let's pick something with some spool pins now. This very nice Abus. Go in here. Pick that first pin. I forget how high this first pin binds. There you go. There, picked. And then try and get the pins at the back. Lots of counter rotation as we hit those spool pins. There we go, and we've got that one open too. I'll go on one more just because we're here and I've got the pick in my hand and I like lock picking, so why not do a bit more of it. Got this little yellow padlock, so let's see what we can't pick here. Going in, going in. Pick that first pin as well. Oh, and we're open. Good stuff. So there you go, as you can see, very usable. I would like to do some conclusions now, things I like, things that I maybe don't like so much, and some thoughts on if I were to improve this, what I might improve. And I think the first thing to say before we go into any conclusions is you're either going to like this or you're not going to like this. If you like this, you're going to just appreciate the sort of fun factor to this, the fact that it works as intended, it's a nice fidget toy, it's practical, it works, it's associated with lockpicking lawyer and Covert instruments, which is very popular. So you're either going to like it because it's a bit of fun and it's practical and it works and it's kind of cool, and it is, let's be honest, it is a really nice feeling, this toy, this pick. So you're either going to like it because of that, or you're going to hate it because it's frivolous, it's it's not really a pick, it's not really a fidget toy. You might consider it not to be particularly cheap. You're not a fan of the lockpicking lawyer, whatever your reasons are. I think that this is going to be one of those things. I'll try to remain as neutral as I can. I pay for this with my own money, all thoughts of my own. So for me, things I personally like about it are, I think that the pick choices are perfect for what this is. I'd probably prefer a triple peak and a quint peak, or rather than a quint and a quad. But again, I'm splitting hairs a little bit there. I think that a medium hook and a short hook is a really good choice. Maybe actually just have one rake and a deep hook. I think what would be good is if they maybe had a small expansion for this, so that I could have a deep hook and a triple peak rake as options in there, so maybe a small half diamond to make it up as a set. But yeah, overall the metal and the finish and the choice of picks is perfectly good, so I like that. I do like the weight, I like the look. I think it's got really nice styling. It's a bit tactical, but I think that's the point, and that's one of those things which you'll either like or you don't. And yeah, I'm not going to lie, I do actually like playing with this. I just do. Things I'm not so keen on. I'm on the fence about the price. I don't think it's necessarily an unfair price. It's $65 US, and again, this is at the time of filming. Prices change. Import taxes and postage aren't included. Exchange rates will change, all that kind of stuff. But that's $65 US, which is around £49.70, or €58.99 at the time of filming, which you may consider this to be, a reasonable price for an executive toy, but it also might price out some people who are just looking to have something fun to play with that's lockpicking related. I don't really have a lot of particularly negative things to say about it, actually. I think the reason is it does what it says it does. It is a fidget toy, it's a conversation starter, it's fun, but it's practical and it works. I can't criticize it for what it actually is. And everything does work, and it's quite simple. It comes with some spares and a nice box. I think that the sliding mechanism is good, all these things. So you might think I would be a bit negative about this, but I'm not really, because it's not trying to be a lockpick set. It's not trying to replace, a jackknife or anything like that. It is what it is. It's just it's a practical fidget toy, what we used to call an executive toy back in the day. And it works as it's intended. I like the fact that it's got an integrated turning tool, and that works really well. So yeah, I don't have many negative things to say about it, but I certainly can see why some people would be negative about it, and that's fine. That's just personal preference. On to things that I might change about the design, and there isn't much here that I would necessarily change. I think they've done a good job, but it's just some thoughts I had while playing around with this, in that one pick tip in this tool, if there's only a way to have like two, so you could have one then or have a way for one to slide out or another to slide out on the other side, I don't know, probably isn't actually practical or particularly reasonable to ask that they think of a way to do that. But it would make it for me really cool if there's a way to have, I don't know, a short hook and a rake on this. That would make it something which if you were able to carry a lockpick in your region, something that you'd maybe consider carrying a bit more, because you could have a rake and a hook. That would be a lot more practical in terms of picking real locks in real life. But I also appreciate that designing that would be somewhat difficult, but it is something that I think would be cool if they could integrate that into the design. The only other thing is, I was thinking that this isn't very good as a keychain thing. Carrying this isn't going to be particularly easy. You could have it in a wallet or a holder or something like that. I mean, there are ways to make this carryable, don't get me wrong, but just as sort of a keychain ornament, not that, well, you'd have to not worry about the paint getting scratched, but just as something which you could stick on a keychain. Obviously that wouldn't work because it would just hang out and dangle like this. You could have one of those little clasps at the top, maybe, that you could flick open so that it would sort of lock at this end and have a loop on it. Or I was thinking here, maybe there could be a way that you could push this. This is obviously just the hinge, but maybe it's a mechanism by which you could push this in and it locks, and push it out, a bit like a safety catch, if you like. That would be really cool, so that it would stay locked, click, and then open. I'd like that probably more than being able to change the tips. And then you could probably put a hole in here for people who wanted to put a little cord or a loop through there. Again, you might disagree with those observations, and that's perfectly fine. Everybody's got their own taste, which brings me on to I'd love to know what you think to this. This was a reasonable amount of money for me to pay for something. I'm unsure of whether, if I wasn't doing this channel, I would buy one of these, just because I don't think I need a fidget toy. But now I have it, I don't dislike having it, let's put it that way. So I'd really like to know your thoughts on this. Which side of the fence are you? Do you think this is a cool, fidget toy that's practical, lockpicking related? Yeah, it's fun, it's cool, it looks great. Or are you the other side, which is it's frivolous, it's it's just not needed, it's a bit more of a toy, it's not serious, and that's not for your personal tastes? I can see both sides of that argument. Maybe somewhere in the middle. Maybe I've got it wrong. Maybe it's not chalk and cheese. Maybe somewhere in the middle. So do put your comments below. Really love to know your thoughts on this. I do read all the comments as well. I reply to as many as I can. If you like this video, hit that like. I really appreciate all those likes. If you think I deserve it, then of course you can subscribe, hit the notification bell to see more content like this. Otherwise, stay safe, happy picking, and I will see you all next time.